What's good, everybody? It's your boy Jay.
It's your girl Kiya.
And today we have a WandaVision Season 1 finale analysis.
Yep.
I know it's been a minute since we came on and did anything about WandaVision, but that's mainly because it's Marvel. We really wanted to sort of watch it and get a gist for what was going on for real before we started to come back on. And now the season finale, and we sort of had it set in stone as to, you know, our thoughts and our theories. We're also going to analyze some of the past thoughts and theories that we had. I think you were right about Wanda being the villain, but even though they revealed a second villain, sort of, you know, it's a really good series. It's a really good series. Really good. Go ahead and give me your thoughts.
Okay, so far for me, I feel like they developed this season so well, and from the way I can sum up this season is it definitely, like somebody said this, it was the focus of the final was to focus on closure, and I feel like throughout the whole first season it was definitely targeting like Wanda as a person, like her development, because if you guys notice in the Marvel movies, we don't really get to know Wanda. Like we know that she's lost her brother, we know that she's lost her family, we know a little bit about like that point in time for her, but it's just like we never actually get to see like her as a character like we do with other like heroes, because they usually get their own movies and stuff like that. So like for her, I think it's really cool that we actually got to delve into a lot of like, you know, a lot of the hardships that she had and how it affected her. I feel like it was really cool that we got to delve into that. And like the season final for me, I feel like it was really, I honestly really enjoyed it. Honestly, it was like, I don't know, it's kind of like a little bit emotional at the same time, because it's kind of like you don't want to see like,
it was emotional but it was exciting.
Yeah, it was emotional but exciting. Yeah, so I just feel like it was like I feel like I really enjoyed it. I feel like I understand Wanda more, and I feel like the next seasons we're gonna get a lot more, like now that we understand her as a character, now we can get into next season with more exciting stuff to see.
I'm just glad that they spent season 1 developing those two characters, because we know a lot about Jarvis, but we didn't know much about Jarvis once that mainframe was put inside of Vision's body. So getting to know the Wanda and Vision dynamic, because a lot of people, we only saw a little bit of that. I think we saw a little bit in Civil War, and we kind of saw a little bit in the Avengers movies, but we didn't get to see a lot. So sort of establishing the Wanda and the Vision dynamic and show why they fit, why they're such a good couple, why it is that Wanda was so attached to him, because we didn't get to see it like a relationship in the movies. It was more like a really close friendship in the movies. You understand what I'm saying? So getting to really see the relationship dynamic between the two, but also getting a chance to understand Wanda, also known as Scarlet Witch, because we didn't really get to see, first of all, from the beginning, since she came into the Marvel universe in the second Avengers movie, Age of Ultron. She debuted originally in the last final credit scene of the first Avengers movie with her and her brother Pietro, and he died in that movie, but we never really understood her. We never really understood him, so we didn't really understand her pain or her grief
we didn't really
in that moment either. We never really got any character development for her, and we never really got any character development from Vision, which is why it was harder for people to get excited for WandaVision, a show coming out about the two, because we didn't know anything about the two. So now that they spent the first season establishing the relationship dynamics, setting what kind of character and personalities they have, and now sort of getting all of that out of the way, and also understanding everything that Wanda had gone through up until this point, that she never really got to mourn the loss of her brother. She never really got to mourn the loss of Vision, who she lost not once, not twice, but now 3 times. So with all those things happening and all of this grief and all of this loss, not to mention everybody else who lost in this particular time period as well, because keep in mind, Tony Stark passed away. You got Captain America, who also got old, you know, and even in between that time when you had Thanos, who snapped away half of the universe, a lot of people's loved ones were gone also in that time. So you look at those things, you know, it sort of helps you understand what she was dealing with, and gives you a little bit more perspective.
Yeah, I actually love and then not only that, we actually see what her desire is, and you guys actually get to see like she's like because like with her, you don't really like. It's good that they show the grieving process, but it's also good that they also show what she really desires, which is a family. So like a family of her own that she's never really got to have, like because she's lost everybody that she's cared about. So I feel like, which brings us on to the next thing, is that a lot of people feel like they're kind of cheated with the show because they feel like it was more focused on like grief and loss, and it didn't really like have a lot to do with, I guess, the comics. And the thing that I have a problem with that is just the fact that you have to address the past before you can move forward. Because we never really got to see the grieving process, like you said. We never really got to understand her as a character. So I think they did a really good job establishing her character for this season.
Not to mention they also stayed true to the comics as well.
Right,
I don't think a lot of people understand that either. The fact that they stayed true to the comics, even though they aren't in the action scenes of the comics. The backstory has to be established. Nobody wants the backstory for some reason. They just want the action scenes. So when they established the backstory, and they did majority of that after introducing Agatha.
Right.
Agatha Hathaway, I believe her name is. So after introducing her, they sort of really got into the nitty gritty of her background, explaining exactly what it is that she went through. From being born in a city that was riddled with war and different things like that, lost both of her parents, wound up enlisting with a particular company, and different things like that, sort of learning her power and abilities and everything like that. So figuring out, seeing her go through that progression, she lived a sad life.
She did.
So I mean, so to say that it's focused on pain and grief, that's sort of, nobody ever says that about Batman. I mean, pretty much all of Batman's, first of all, his city is gloomy, it's dark.
Right.
That's number one. And number two, all his life is pain and grief.
Right.
For the most part. And he just, and what's even worse is that it's not even necessarily that Bruce Wayne that his life is bad. He continues to relive the same sad moment, so he chooses to stay in grief. Whereas grief finds Wanda.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? You have no sympathy for Wanda, who's lived a hard life from the time she was a child to now when she's an adult. But Bruce Wayne continues to perpetually live in the state of a child who lost his parents. He chooses grief. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So seeing and understanding Wanda and her story, I think it was imperative to do that in season 1 because I feel like she's going to most likely be the centerpiece of this particular series going forward.
Yeah. And I think that, usually it's like, usually think about that, like,
because we understand where Vision came from. He was created, he wasn't born. So it's not too much backstory you have to give because we saw him from the time he was created in the Avengers movie.
And even like when you're developing a character in such a fast time in like one season, it didn't feel like a drag. Like you're just sitting there just like, like how they always have like flashbacks and stuff like that and things like that. They made it easy. Basically what I'm saying is they made it easy to get to know her. They made it easy to understand. Like, it
wasn't like forced.
Right. It was like very like, the way they did it was really smooth. So I personally like the way that they did it. I think it allows for the next seasons to be even more exciting. I like the fact
they got all of the other stuff out of the way, so they don't have to try to do character. A character introduction in season 2. Yeah,
because like even at the end of the final,
I don't want to see flashbacks still in season 2.
That's true, unless it's like important stuff. But like with Wanda, you see how in the end how she's starting to change, and so now that we understand her past, like where she came from, we can see like how she's gonna change like in the next season. So now we actually understand her. So that when we start seeing changes in her, it's like, okay, I see where this came from, type thing. So I think I like that as well, and I like that they're also focusing a lot on Monica as well.
Monica Rambeau.
Yeah, I really like that as well. So I think the next season we can look forward to seeing more from her, learning more about her. Because I'm really interested. I'm like, first of all, who's her mom? Like, I mean, like even still, it's like it's exciting to know her story, her mother's story, what exactly her mom was involved with, things like that.
And whether the abilities she developed by going into Wanda's, whatever you want to call it, her world twice. What were those abilities that she gained, and does she still have them now that is come down. Now that world is particularly come down.
Yeah.
So that would be another interesting question to answer going into the next season.
I think so too. So I think we'll be able to see a lot of cool things, especially with Wanda gaining those new abilities as well, seeing how that kind of like affects her as well as seeing how that works out. And so I think it's really going to be really exciting. I'm personally very excited.
And we got to actually see her, even though she was already the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
We got to actually see her become the Scarlet Witch.
Exactly.
And
so,
from that point, now we can start to see the Phase 4 X-Men start to sort of, the mutants.
So I feel like people shouldn't be so mad about the first season because I feel like this is perfect for the direction that they're going to go in.
Because she still hadn't become Scarlet Witch yet. When we saw her in battle and we saw her fighting, she was never the Scarlet Witch. So now that she's the Scarlet Witch, that means that she's actually reached her full potential. Because what a lot of people don't realize is that Scarlet Witch is actually the most powerful. Is actually the most powerful hero in the Marvel universe.
Right.
It's between her and Captain Marvel. So the fact that I think a lot of people don't really realize that, but now that she's actually the Scarlet Witch, that means that she's reached her full potential.
Right.
And now she's actually at her peak in power.
Yeah. I think that this first season is excellent. It started off kind of iffy, but I think that they ended pretty strong, and I feel like I'm very confident that the next season.
And it's hard to say that even now, hindsight, that it started off iffy, because now you understand why it started off the way that it did.
Yeah, and so I think also with Vision as well. I'm excited to see what they do with Vision because I know that he kind of left. We know that he knows who he is now. So I feel like in the next season, I don't think that they'll come out with him like straight out front. I think that maybe they'll just like bring him in a part where we don't expect him to, and just to see, oh wow. So and then we get caught up with him and see what happened with him while he was away, and see exactly what happened with him. But I don't think they'll show him like right off the bat. I think that that's something I'll probably do later in like season 2 or maybe like some.
Well, a lot of people don't remember this, but but sort of a similar situation as I know we saw the aspect of when he was fighting a clone of himself, and he inserted all of his memories into the clone, and the clone said, "I am Vision," and he flew off. But what a lot of people don't realize is that that's sort of what happened in Age of Ultron at the end of Age of Ultron with the original Vision, when he was sort of created and he was like, well, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with all of this, and he just sort of went into almost like a silent mode, where he sort of when it started to find itself a little bit. And I believe that's also what the other Vision is doing as well, is also looking for information, trying to get information that's been hidden from him as well. Trying to understand. So I think he's gonna come back in having had that same journey that that the original Vision had, and I think he's gonna take the place of that Vision, because technically he is Vision. Vision isn't a person, he's a mainframe. He's Jarvis. So if the Vision that was recreated injected Jarvis, the system, the mainframe inside of that other clone, then that clone is technically Vision. Even though it's not the Vision that was created in Age of Ultron, it's still Vision. It's still the Jarvis system.
Yeah, so I feel like that's definitely something to keep in mind. I feel like that's definitely something that's gonna happen. He's gonna come back and be like more, himself. He'll know who he is, like more and more. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that he'll have gone through his own journey that he needed to go through. So yeah, is that all you have to say on it?
I think that's it.
Yeah. So personally, I love the final. I liked everything about this season. It was really good. Me personally, I feel like it's on a right track. I'm looking forward to see what they do in season 2. And
what villains are we going to see for Scarlet Witch in season 2, and who are the first mutants that we will see in the WandaVision series?
And I'm trying to see I'm excited to see what happened with Wanda too, like how she's going to control these powers and stuff like that, and what kind of things emerge and the kind of problems she's going to come across with these new powers and abilities and things like that.
Exactly.
Yep. And see, I'm pretty sure that maybe there might be some type of side effect to what she did, like as far as like creating like the world that she made, because if you think about it with her son, she could hear him at the end when she could hear him talking to her. I think that maybe somehow there might be some, I don't want to say remnants, but maybe something going on there where there might be some backfire.
Well, I think people also forget that she absorbed Agatha's power.
That's true.
So, and Agatha was pretty powerful already. So considering that she absorbed that power, there is a chance that with that last amount of energy that she put in, it's possible that she could have, because keep in mind, Vision also said that she made a memory reality.
Right.
So it's possible that she could have actually, with the power that she gained, she possibly could have made that what she created in her mind reality.
Right. And sometimes that would be very interesting to see, because that's what has me curious. I'm very curious. That would make sense, honestly. I think that would make a lot of sense.
That would be an interesting way to bring them back into the fold, especially considering that their powers in particular. That would be interesting.
Yeah. We have a lot to look forward to in season 2. Though.
If the son that she heard, that might have been the one who obtained her powers. So he possibly could have done that for himself.
Probably. Dang, okay. That's true. Alright. That's actually a good theory.
Because think about it. The son could he could hear her thoughts and everything like that. So it's possible that he understood what was going on. As opposed, they probably thinking, well, he doesn't understand that he's about to go poof in a second. He probably thinking, well, I know that I'm about to go poof because I can hear your thoughts. And figures out a way. I don't know, that's a stretch because he's not that powerful yet.
Right.
But maybe he is.
You never know, because they develop their power. They're able to control their powers pretty well. So you never know. But yeah, that's pretty much what we think on the season. Let us know what you thought as well. I know we didn't really come with like a lot of theories, but I feel like it was just pretty much I don't think there was like a whole bunch to dissect there personally for the final. But I'm excited to see what they do next, more so than anything.
This is Marvel. There's always something to dissect, but with time and a couple more watches, maybe we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But if you guys like this video, like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the socials down below. Definitely support. And also watch our live that we did with Jalon. That'll be linked down below. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time.
Deuces. Post for the thumbnail.